Have you ever wondered what the Super Bowl reveals about American culture? As the confetti falls and the cheers echo, a different narrative emerges. It isn't just about sportsmanship and athleticism. It's a telling reflection of our societal values. Perched on the edge of our seats, we watch not just a game, but a spectacle that seems to say a lot about us. It's a spectacle that places fame and money on a pedestal, while virtues take a back seat. The Super Bowl, in all its glory, mirrors the American dream. Work hard and you can achieve success. But how do we define success? From the ostentatious halftime shows to the multi-million-dollar commercials, the Super Bowl is a celebration of fame and wealth. The spotlight isn't just on the players, it's on the celebrities, the musicians, the millionaires. It's a testament to how fame and money have come to define success in our culture. As we cheer for our favorite teams and stars, virtues like humility, temperance, and education seem to be forgotten. They're not the stars of the show, they're not the ones making headlines. The Super Bowl, in a way, reveals this glaring deficiency in our societal values. It's not the virtues that we cheer for, it's the fame and the money. We're not teaching our kids to strive for kindness or humility. We're teaching them to strive for fame and wealth. And it's not just in the Super Bowl, it's in our daily lives, our conversations, our aspirations, the focus on social media, the obsession with physical appearance, the likes, the shallow. We're constantly fed this narrative that fame and wealth are the ultimate goals, the pinnacle of success. But what about the pursuit of wisdom, character, and humility? What about virtue and education? Is this the American dream we want to pass on to our kids? Is this the society we want to build? It appears that fame and wealth have become the American dream, overshadowing virtues such as kindness and humility. But at what cost? Kids today are increasingly suffering from anxiety and depression. Girls are going to extremes to alter their appearance, to look a certain way. Imagine if children were taught that their character is the most important thing, not their looks. Imagine if they had internal confidence of who they are as a person. It would build a foundation of internal strength and wisdom. This may help to ease anxiety and depression. Instead of pursuing fame and fortune, a goal impossible for the masses, kids could pursue learning and building a virtuous character, something everyone can do. Perhaps it's time to rethink our values, to redefine our American dream. Often we hear that our schools are failing our children, but is it really the education system that's to blame? Let's delve a bit deeper into this misconception. In truth, it's not so much the schools that are failing, but rather it's the cultural values that are letting our youth down. Our society seems to be caught up in a whirlwind of fame, physical beauty standards, and wealth. The desire for these elements has been prioritized over the pursuit of knowledge, education, and character. We live in an era where the aspiration to be famous or rich has surpassed the ambition to be educated, to be knowledgeable, to be wise. They don't even say they want to be famous for doing anything good. They just want to be famous. They just want to be rich. At the very least, how about being famous for a contribution to society, or being rich because you helped others? The allure of the limelight is proving more enticing than the allure of the library. The glitter of gold is outshining the glow of virtue. So, are our schools failing, or are they simply trying to navigate in a culture that values the superficial over the substantial? We need to ask ourselves, what message are we sending to our young minds? Are we encouraging them to seek knowledge, to strive for wisdom, to cultivate their intellects? Or are we pushing them towards a path where fame and fortune are the ultimate goals, where the depth of one's character is measured by the depth of one's pockets? In ancient times, some societies held virtue and wisdom as the highest good. Being a good citizen, contributing positively to society, these were the ideals that were championed. But as we look around today, it seems these values have been sidelined. The virtues of humility, kindness, and wisdom have been overshadowed by the pursuit of fame and fortune. So when we say our schools are failing, we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. It's not the education system that's failing our children, it's the cultural climate that is failing to instill the right values in them. It's the societal norms that are failing to prioritize education over fame and wealth. The real failure, it seems, lies not in our schools, but in the values we are promoting. Once upon a time, being virtuous was considered the highest good. What happened to this sentiment? We traverse through time, back to the golden age of ancient Greece and Rome, where virtue was the crown jewel of one's character. The philosophers of those times, like Socrates and Aristotle, believed virtue to be the highest form of excellence, the foundation of a good life. The Stoics considered knowledge to be the only good and ignorance the only bad. It was a time when being a good citizen wasn't just about paying taxes or obeying laws, but about contributing to the welfare of society and living a life of integrity. Fast forward to today, and our priorities seem to have shifted dramatically. Instead of valuing virtue, we're caught up in the whirlwind of fame, fortune, and social media. The importance placed on good character, on virtues like humility, kindness, honesty, integrity, wisdom, courage, and temperance, seem to have dwindled. Our society seems to have reduced the concept of being good to a mere checkbox next to the belief in God. But is believing in a higher power the same as embodying the virtues that these religions preach? Can we truly call ourselves good if we don't strive to nurture these virtues within us and demonstrate them through our actions? We've allowed the dazzling allure of fame and the intoxicating rush of wealth to overshadow the quiet strength of virtue. The spotlight is always on the rich and famous, seldom on the virtuous. The narratives of those who've amassed fortunes are celebrated, while the stories of those who've lived lives of virtue are often overlooked. We've moved from a culture that valued virtue to one that is obsessed with materialistic success. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with aspiring for success, we must remember that it shouldn't come at the cost of our virtues. We must strive to bring back the balance and place virtue back on the pedestal where it once stood proudly. The value of virtue seems to have been lost in the shuffle of modern priorities. But it's never too late to reclaim it, to rekindle our appreciation for it, and to realign our society's values. Let's not forget, virtue isn't just an ancient concept, it's a timeless one, and it's high time we remembered its worth. Consumerism, the mantra of the modern American. But at what cost? Let's take a moment to ponder on this. As we navigate through our daily lives, we are continuously bombarded with messages urging us to consume. Buy this, buy that, buy. The relentless cycle of consumerism is woven so tightly into the fabric of our culture that it's become second nature to us. In America, it seems the more you consume, the more you're worth. The value of an individual is often measured by their ability to consume, the brands they wear, the car they drive, the size of their house. The list is endless. But what does this relentless focus on consumption really mean for us as individuals, as a society? Will we mistreat others to get it? Will we destroy the environment with our unquenchable thirst for stuff? Will we allow people in developing countries to continue to live lives of destitution so that we can get cheap stuff we don't need? It's quite simple, really. By placing such an enormous emphasis on consumption, we're reducing the value of individuals to their purchasing power. The worth of a person is no longer determined by their character, their virtues, or their contributions to society. Instead, it's determined by how much they can and do consume. This obsession with wealth and consumption is not without its repercussions. It breeds a culture where the pursuit of material wealth overshadows the pursuit of knowledge, wisdom, and virtue. It fosters a society where being rich and famous becomes the ultimate goal, and everything else takes a back seat. It creates a dog-eat-dog, an eat or be eaten mentality. The question we must ask ourselves is this the kind of culture we want to pass on to our children? Do we want them to grow up in a world where their worth is determined by their ability to consume, where their dreams are limited to fame and wealth, where the pursuit of virtue is discouraged? Perhaps it's time we reconsidered our priorities. Perhaps it's time we shifted our focus from consumption to contribution, from wealth to wisdom, from fame to virtue. Let's redefine the American dream. After all, aren't these the qualities that truly enrich our lives and our societies? In the race to consume, we seem to have forgotten the value of being good citizens and virtuous individuals. Let's not make the same mistake with our children. Let's teach them that their worth isn't defined by their consumption, but by their character, their virtues, and their contributions to society. Imagine a society where knowledge and virtue are the highest of achievements. Can we make this a reality? Consider the benefits of a society that prizes wisdom over wealth, character over celebrity. A society where the greatest accolade isn't a gold-plated trophy or a bank account overflowing with zeros, but the esteem of one's peers for one's integrity, kindness, and intelligence. I believe this may cure our collective societal depression and anxiety. No longer are we all in a struggle to be better than. Maybe we walk down the street and feel good about ourselves, and we feel good about our communities. A virtuous America would be an America where our children are taught to value wisdom and character above all else. Our schools would be temples of learning, where young minds are nurtured and challenged, where curiosity is rewarded and the pursuit of truth is the noblest quest. It would be a country where the heroes are not just those who can throw a ball the farthest or sing the catchiest song, but those who make a difference in their communities, who stand up for what's right, who devote their lives to the betterment of others. To foster this love for wisdom in our children, we must lead by example. We must show them that virtue is more than just a word in a dictionary. It's a way of life. It's choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. It's standing up for the weak, speaking out against injustice, and dedicating ourselves to a life of learning and self-improvement. But it's not just about what we teach our children, it's about what we show them. We must demonstrate that being virtuous is not just desirable but achievable. That it's not an old-fashioned ideal but a modern necessity. We must revive the importance of virtue in our society. We must celebrate those who strive to better themselves and their communities. We must reject the notion that wealth and fame are the only measures of success. We must redefine what it means to be a good citizen, a good neighbor, a good human being. The path to a virtuous America may be challenging, but the rewards are immeasurable. It's about time we redefine the American dream. Never stop learning, never stop striving to be virtuous. Let's make the world a better place, together.